The market seems to be somewhere around 80-20 that AT&T wins. I'm actually not as convinced. I think the theory of harm is actually an easier argument to make than some people seem to suggest.
And the consumer in this case?
That's right. And while I think it's fair to say that Judge Leon was not persuaded by the quantification, he may not care what the quantification is. He may say that the theory of harm is almost self-evidently correct, right?
Why?
So here's the theory, right? That in essence, when a programmer sits down to negotiate with a distributor, they reach a price that is an affiliate fee for the content that is the equilibrium of their negotiating leverage, right? Who can cause whom the most pain? If the pain to the distributor, in that case, let's say Charter or Charter Cable,
yeah.
Is felt by losing subscribers to other distributors. The pain to the programmer is felt by lost affiliate fees and advertising. If you can make the argument that any non-zero number of customers that leave that distributor go to DirecTV, and therefore the cost of the blackout to AT&T is lower, then the equilibrium price, the Nash equilibrium, if you will, by definition will be a higher number. So you may argue.
I'm following this because my head hurts a little. So, so you're saying that so is it because DirecTV is a national? No, it's simply because because
AT&T owns it, and even though they have small market share, they would get some of.
They would get some of the value, and therefore, the net
moves that equilibrium price a little bit.
That's right. And so you can argue that it's very difficult to quantify it, but if the judge agrees, I don't really care about the theory of the quantification. Self-evidently, that theory is correct and leads to a higher equilibrium, and therefore there will be some measure of consumer pain here, and that could be persuasive. Remember, this is a judge who, in the case of Comcast, same judge, right, in Comcast NBCU, where he had a prepackaged settlement between the Department of Justice and Comcast, handed it back to them and said, this isn't sufficient to protect consumers, go do it again. All right. And so he clearly has some sensitivity to the arguments of consumer pain here. Andy, where does that leave you when this comes down?
Sensible enough to know that my opinion doesn't make a difference.
But you have one nevertheless, I'm sure.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's our job, right? I agree with what Craig is saying in terms of the there is an incentive that comes into play that would logically drive some amount of price increase over time. Whether or not that's addressable with behavioral measures, or if the courts and the DOJ still believe in that is a totally different question. I think that's one of the things that we're sort of determining here.
And so, Paul, we'll give you the last word here. If the judge blocks this, then what?
Well, I do not believe if the judge is probably not going to block this, but he's going to do kind of what Craig said using the Comcast model. There's going to be restrictions, and those restrictions have worked, and it stops the DOJ from becoming a regulatory entity. That's why I do not believe that if AT&T wins, I don't think the Justice Department's going to appeal this ruling. Really? Because they don't really want to be in that business, and the antitrust regulators have said so.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.